It's a bad day to propose. What is the one thing you cannot do for a competition like Straight A? You can't do visual effects or post-production, so let's do that.
Certainly at that point, I don't think anyone had used virtual production. I mean, maybe with film, but certainly not with Super 8 film, and probably not 16mm.
We thought it was a perfect marriage between the technology and the medium.
And the good thing about Unreal assets is that they are reusable. Once you've built an asset, it's just they are on a hard drive and can be used by someone else.
In terms of the score, for both the different takes we did on the two different Super 8, one had a GoPro strapped to it, and I just have to press go before Fernando would start going. And then you take it into the editing system, and I basically have to listen for the little click of the Super 8 and marry that and go, okay, where the click starts, that's where the shot's starting, and where it ends is where it ends. And then I just lay all that down on the timeline.
Syncing the visuals in the background to the action in the foreground was a challenge. And we had what we called main events on the visuals. So we had a countdown, for example, counting down to an explosion or counting down to an appearance on screen. So we knew that all of us had to sync to that.
The explosion was like a beep, 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 beep. And we knew that on that last one we all go bam and the whole thing would go. So everyone behind the camera, whether there's leaf blowing, smoke, bits of rubble, and then myself and Shay moving ourselves and flipping ourselves off the table.
Someone under the table as well.
Yeah, someone under the table to flip it. So we're listening for that cue, so we all need to do it at the same time.
Everything was done really DIY. We did the tiling on the floor ourselves. We painted our own chairs.
We went to Argos to buy the lightest plastic table. We put tablecloth on top of it so that someone can literally hide beneath it and just flip it over. All of those action and matching the background and the foreground had to be thought of in advance.
The idea of doing an 80s Spielberg crazy homage was that the virtual production allows us to design all of those bits without having to dress the set. So it added to the complication of the magic trick.
Give or take maybe 2 seconds of drift here and there, because as accurate as I can be, like even if I hit the click, it might have started rolling ever so slightly before, ever so slightly afterwards. And actually seeing the result when Straight A actually aired it was quite remarkable.
It is that sequence in which the actors are crawling out of the restaurant. I am turning on the sparklers while Fernando is moving towards me. George is behind because he's filming on GoPro for sound music sync later on. So we are all moving in tandem.
You're not doing takes, you're doing the one take. But every rehearsal needed a lot of reset.
From an actor's perspective as well, is that you never ever get to shoot anything in sequence. So by the end, we weren't in it before, but we were really, come on, we're so close to the end. It was sort of a really interesting experience.
Once the smoke has blown into the camera, so you have to reset everything. But thankfully that's where virtual production is so handy, because everything in the foreground has to be done manually, but everything in the background with a click of a button just goes back.
Cut. That's it. Brilliant. Thank you so much.